Hi everyone, welcome to or back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sammy and I like to yap about books. And today I'm going through my May reading wrap up. I can't believe this month is over already, it's crazy. This month I read 8 books and it's been pretty even this month. So I've read 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I've read 3 and I've listened to 4. 3 of my audiobooks have been the Throne of Glass series. So I'm going to talk about those first because this is like my listen. I can't remember when I actually read Throne of Glass first. I know I was very late to the party, but I got the box set, which, it's just out of shop. But I got the box set without even reading the first book, and that's my faith in Sarah J. Maas in a nutshell. But I read ACOTAR first and then I went to Throne of Glass. I remember quite a bit of it. I think I've mentioned in previous vlogs. I remembered quite a bit of it, but there are some bits and I was like, how? How could I forget that? Like, I had totally forgotten how Abraxas was actually I can't remember the word for it. He was like he was like a slave to the dragons. I don't know the word for it. But I'd totally forgotten that. And it broke my heart listening to it. I was just like, oh my God, I totally forgot. And he's such a cutie. And yeah, I just love him. And I forgot that this series is so massive. Like, I know ACOTAR's big, but I don't know, I feel like this series is huge. Like, just the scale. And I think that's because you get POVs from so many different characters. You get to know characters. I think you get to know characters slightly better than you do in the ACOTAR series. And I think because the characters are so diverse in Throne of Glass, it is so good, so good. I can't even. So I listened to the first 3. So Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, because I did Assassin's Blade last month, and I'm gonna go on to Crown of Midnight maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I'm not in any rush. I want to soak it all in. I love this series, and I remembered weird, like, random bits and then other bits, and I was like, how could you forget that? That's just so weird. So those were my 3 audiobooks. The other audiobook that I listened to, there are 2 and they're both about tradwives. So the first one I listened to was The Tradwife by Carrie Hughes, and this one was supposed to be darkly funny. It's like a darkly funny thriller about tradwives. So in this story, we are following a young woman who has a young daughter and is a bit down on her luck, and she is a social media, like, campaign manager, and in her spare time she has this kind of unhealthy obsession with a tradwife influencer called Faith. And Faith has the farm, she has the husband, she has I think it's like 7 kids. She does the home baking, she has everything, in its place, neatly done. This woman believes that there is like a seedy underbelly to this social media persona that this woman's created, and she wants to get to the bottom of it. So as part of her podcast, she decides to write to this woman and say, I'd love to interview you. I'm doing a piece on trad wives. Would you be interested? And the woman, Faith, writes back and she's like, I'd love it. I'd love it if you and your daughter could come to the farm, see like everything that goes on, see how you feel about it, and obviously do the interview for the podcast. So she goes, she does the interview, and Faith actually offers her a place on the farm as a social media manager for the farm. And she takes it. And as soon as she gets there, things start taking a turn. Faith and her husband slowly start stripping her of her rights. She's not allowed to post on social media, on her own social media. She's only allowed to post on the farm's social media. It has to be approved by Faith's husband, and she's not allowed to do anything for herself. So her podcast kind of gets put to the side as well. And you slowly start to pick up on these massive red flags. And it turns out that this is a Mormon farm, and Faith's husband actually has multiple wives, calls himself a prophet, etc. And they have decided that our female main character is the next chosen wife. And there's this other storyline, and there's the backstory, and it's very messy. I struggled with this one quite a bit. There were multiple times when I did consider DNFing. I couldn't connect to the characters. The female main character really not angered me, it frustrated me. So she has a young daughter, but it turns out in her backstory, she escaped a Mormon community. They were going to marry her off young, get her having children young, etc. She escaped that life, became a person who does not do religion. And I just thought, if you had had that kind of experience, not only would you not want to go back into that experience, but there's no way in heck you'd be taking a child into that experience. And it really backfires on her really quickly, because this child goes from lovely, I think she's 8-year-old child, to absolute religious nut in about 2 chapters, to the point of where the child is like preaching scripture to her and telling her off for saying certain words or doing certain things, and it's very dark in that perspective. But yeah, I unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. I thought the premise was really interesting, but it just didn't work for me. Like I said, it was very slow, and then the end was very much like boom, 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 and it was all over in pretty much one chapter. We got very little information on really what happened after the big event. And yeah, it's weird because I kind of enjoyed it as I was listening to it, and the more I thought about things in the story, the more I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, and why would you do that? And I started to unpick it. So I don't know, maybe I ruined it a little bit for myself, but it just didn't work for me. I think if I had read the book physically, I would have DNF'd it, because, like I said, I was struggling with the audio book. So I think actually reading a physical book would have been like No, no. The other Tradwife audiobook that I listened to was by Sarah Langan, and this was meant to be it was meant to be a horror. And I actually finished this today, and this is very similar to the Carrie Hughes story. So in this one, we are following a young woman who she is a journalist, and she basically gets fired from her job for writing a very brutal, very honest piece that goes viral, and she gets fired for it because of some implications. And her boss, her ex-boss, then says to her, I can get you like a freelance job to do a piece on a tradwife. So she goes out to the farm. She gets offered a week at the farm. She takes up the offer. This female main character doesn't have a child, so that's one difference. Another difference with this one was it had a very long, it kind of similar to the other one. It had a very long build up, and then the end I felt was really rushed. And I think I was about 60% through before anything really happened where I was like, oh, something's going on here. I didn't love it. I liked it better than the Carrie Hughes version, but I don't know, it didn't grip me, and it should have, because the premise of this one is really interesting. There's a supernatural element to this one that is very cool, but just the way it was written, I don't know why, it just did not work for me. It was, and I could see kind of what was happening. And again, the end, very quick, and it felt very rushed, and it felt almost like a non-ending. I feel like if we had cut a lot of the first part of the story, because the first part of the story, we follow the main character before she loses her job, and then it's very slow, it's very like ploddy, and then the end is just like boom boom boom, this is your life now, deal with it. And yeah, I just, the end was just not satisfying for me. I really thought she was gonna escape and change things. I mean, there could be a second one. I don't know. I didn't read like that, but for me, I would need a second one to end the story. So I do feel like if we had had less at the beginning and more after where the author ended it, I think I would have preferred that. So again, a bit disappointed. I mean, neither of these Tradwife books are anywhere close to as good as the one by Saratoga Schrafer that I read last month. Was it last month? I can't remember. I still cannot get that book out of my head. Maybe I was comparing these to that one. I don't know, but I just think Saratoga Schrafer absolutely perfected a story there. It was beautiful, and I still need to get a physical copy. But there we go. So that was my other Tradwife book. And then my 3 physical books, I started the month reading an ARC book, and that was We Already Dug the Grave by Emma C. Wells. I think this comes out in August or September. I did put it on the Instagram post, so if you want to know the date, head over to the Instagram page because it'll be on there. In this book, we are following a young woman who, it kind of seems like she's on the run at first, and then we find out that she is hiding from her past because she did something to protect her sister. And it's quite sad, actually. I found this story really quite sad because this female character does not get a break. She does something to protect her sister, and then there's a twist, and it turns out not everything was as it seems, and I really felt sorry for her. It really threw me. I didn't see it coming, and it really was like, oh, like that changes everything. It really does. And it just, oh, I just really felt for her. It was really, because, like, they play very much on the sister relationship in this book. And it's very much like, you know, you do anything to protect your little sister. And you really see, like, how far these sisters go to protect each other. Or, well, one more so than other. And yeah, there are lots of twists in this, lots of secrets being kept in the family. There was a thread of it that I didn't quite get, and I think I might have to like read into it a bit more. I don't want to give anything away for this because it was an arc, and I did really enjoy it. It was fast paced and it was really well written, and I could just see what was happening. And you know, if you've watched any of my vlogs before, you'll know I do love when you can just see what's happening in a book in your head. So yeah, I don't want to go too much into this one because I did really enjoy it. I don't want to give anything away about what happens because it's not out yet, and it's not out for a while. I'm very, very grateful to have read it so far in advance, though. Because, yeah, it was really good. And like I said, the twists in it, you just don't see coming. And because you follow these girls from when they were little, because something happens in their past, and then it kind of, it's like a thread that kind of touches base all the way through the story. There is also a kind of supernatural element to this, and it kind of gave me like practical magic vibes, but with tea leaves. It was a really nice little touch, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that one. So the next book that I read was on my Kindle, and I've been putting this one off for quite a while because I was worried it was very hyped up and they wouldn't live up to expectations. And unfortunately, that was the case with this book. This was A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. So in this story, we follow Freya. I actually remembered the name of a female main character. Whoop. And she is one person who has been blessed by the gods. There are other people in the story who have been blessed by other gods. And basically this makes her a shield maiden. And she is protected by the goddess Hill. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. But I've not heard of this goddess, and I really like Norse mythology, but I'd never heard of this goddess, so I was quite interested to see what it was about. And she starts off the story as a fisherman's wife, and her husband has been blessed by Balder, and he controls water, so he can control like the fish in the sea, etc. And he's nasty. He's really not nice. And things happen, and she ends up not being married to him anymore. And she immediately gets married off to someone else. And he is only marrying her because there is a prophecy to say that she will be the person to unite all of the Vikings and all of the clans and make Skarland, I do believe it's called, great again. So yeah, she becomes a pawn in this Jarl's game to become the ultimate like king of the Vikings. And she falls in love with his son, and from there on in it just went downhill. The female main character just turned into like a teenager who had a raging crush on a man that she shouldn't be with because she's married to the guy's dad. And it was just written really weirdly, like I couldn't picture anything. I think the author, like I don't know, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't, but I think the author was kind of banking on everybody just being aware of what Vikings looked like and, you know, where they lived and like what they did. And luckily I do. I'm a massive like Vikings fan, loved the TV programme, I love the mythology of Vikings, like anything Norse, absolutely love it. But for someone who's like not interested or not learned about it, I just think there was no descriptive parts of anything. There was no, I don't know, it just didn't read well. And the romance plot just overtook the whole story, which was really annoying because there was really good odd bits where the gods got involved. And I thought that was really cool. I thought, oh my god, yes, we're going to get some proper Viking epic, like saga stuff. And that didn't happen. And by the end of it, I just did not care. And I should have DNF'd it, but I didn't. But I had the second one on my Kindle ready to read, and I deleted them both after reading the first one. I was just so disappointed because it just got where every chapter was the female main character going, oh, I wonder what he's like in bed, I wonder what it would be like to have his hands all over me. And I was just like, it's so like teenagery. It was just cringy, actually. So, not for me, unfortunately. And I was really disappointed because, like I said, I'd waited a long time to read that. I think it came out in like 2024. And I'd heard like loads of good things about it. And I was like, oh, I was really worried because of how much I love like Viking stories. And I was really worried about not liking it. And I just didn't like it at all. I was gutted. Absolutely gutted. The last book that I read this month did not gut me at all, though. I absolutely loved this book, and it is Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden. I don't normally read books very fast. Normally it takes me about a week to read a book, and I'm talking like a book this size, so not very big. I think it was 315 pages, and that normally takes me about a week because, you know, I'm tired. I don't get time to read that much, and that's why I like lean heavily on audiobooks now. I read this in 3 days. In my first sitting of reading this, I read 136 pages. I was addicted. So in this book, we are following Debbie Mullen. She is an agony aunt for the local newspaper. And she has a family, husband, kids, and she has a file on her computer of all of these letters, and the advice that she's written back is absolutely unhinged. And you just think, oh, it's just going to be, you know, a little like, ha ha ha, it's just getting it out of my system on the computer. No, Debbie is unhinged. Debbie is unhinged in real life and, well, in the book. And anybody that crosses Debbie in this book is taken care of in one way or another, swiftly and without mercy. And I loved it. I don't know what it was. I absolutely loved it. I loved her. I think she's brilliant. She's a very intelligent woman. She went to MIT college, and she's very like computer sciencey. She makes apps for the family, and she's really, really creative with her revenge as well. And I loved it. It was crazy and brilliant, and that's all I want to say about it. I did enjoy how there were secrets not only on her side of things but on her husband's side of things. You do get pointed in a direction, as you do with most Freida books, and then it's like oh, but it's actually this. And I loved it. So much so, I think I said this about The Staircase. Is it The Staircase? I read a couple of months ago by Freida. This is better than that, and I loved that one. This one is my absolute favourite, hands down. I loved it so much. I honestly cannot recommend it enough. There is a dark side to this. Please do check out the trigger warnings just in case, because there is a theme that is in Debbie's past, and it's kind of why she is the way she is now. So please do check those out, because I don't want people going into it thinking it's all light-hearted and just unhinged craziness, because there is a reason, and it is dark. So do please just be careful. But I absolutely loved it. I do have 3 more Freida McFaddens sitting right there waiting for me to read, so I may read them next month. I've not really planned what I want to read. I'm in a very weird mood of like not knowing what to pick, and then when I pick it, I'm just like, oh, I don't know. So overall, May has been not great, if I'm being honest, if I'm looking back at the thing. I mean, the Throne of Glass audiobooks, chef's kiss, absolutely love. And Dear Debbie, those are the highlights of the month. But yeah, 8 books in total. So I think a couple less than last month, but like I said, I'm not really bothered about it. It's weird because last year I was really like, I want to read 100 books, I want to read 100 books, and I was really goal focused on the 100 books. This year I'm like, I'll read however many I get through, and it's fine. I'm not pushing myself, and I'm not forcing myself to read if I don't feel like reading. Like, if I'm too tired to read, I'm, resting. But yeah, I hope June is a better month for books though, because yeah, there were a couple of big disappointments in there, but oh well. May is done, and we look forward to June. So I'm going to wrap this up now there, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments of what books you read this month, what were your highlights, what were your lowlights, And what are you planning to read for June? Let me know, because like I said, I haven't got a plan. I don't know whether I should have a plan. So yeah, let me know. Anyway, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!